There's a myth going around about Kevin O'Connell that just isn't true, and we're going to squash it here right now. This video is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code ATOZ, ATOZ, and on your first $5 play, receive $100 in bonus credits. Now, one of the interesting things about the Minnesota Vikings has been the ineptitude of this offense. It's been very sporadic. And in 3 of the 4 games, they haven't scored a touchdown until the fourth quarter. And in 1 of those 3, they didn't score a touchdown at all. Now, things looked pretty good against the Cincinnati Bengals, but they just keep getting in their own way. But I think we need to understand the difference between struggling with execution and what the play calling is, because there are way too many people who are criticizing Kevin O'Connell for play calling. He's calling a pretty good game. He's giving Carson Wentz so many more easy buttons, or as you probably heard, quick game, quick screens, hooks, and he's not doing a ton of slants, but he's doing a lot of spacing concepts with stick, where you have one guy shoot up and then he just turns around. The guy next to him is running like an out or an in route, and you use those spacing concepts to separate defenders in zone coverage so you can get guys wide open and get easy targets. They also ran a few screens, and they didn't do a lot of running back screens. They ran I think 2, maybe 3. One of them was completely blown up by the defensive line, but they're trying. And I think the evidence you can look at is Kevin O'Connell's first drive. Quick game, quick game, quick game, arguably quick game, but a little bit more of an intermediate route and a 15-yard dig to Justin Jefferson. Quick game, and then arguably the last one is quick game too, but he should have realized, hey, I got Jefferson wide open on a crossing route. I should probably just throw that. So in the first drive, arguably all 7 passes, quick game. That means something. That matters, because he was not doing that for J.J. McCarthy. He was not doing that nearly enough. Remember, Alec Lewis of The Athletic had a stat over the first 2 games. The Vikings ran what was deemed 3 quick game concepts, which ranked 30th in the NFL. He loaded this game up with quick game and easy buttons and trying to make things easier on his quarterback and offense. And it was especially true when you had 2 of your starting offensive linemen, Brian O'Neill and Ryan Kelly, go out. Donovan Jackson was already out too. So it was a tough one overall, just dealing with injuries. Now, he could have done a little bit more, but some of the intermediate shots that people are complaining about, 1, there wasn't that many of them. 2, you have to remember time and place. When you have to get 12 yards, you either got to run something that's a really good yard after catch kind of play that you know is going to work, or you run past the sticks. So you kind of are putting yourself in a bad situation with those 3rd and longs, and that in itself is another issue, but you got to try and get the first down. Easiest way to get the first down is to throw it past the sticks. Now, the offensive line wasn't necessarily terrible. It struggled a lot in the second half, but the first half, it was pretty good. We have to remember, Carson Wentz struggled with execution. Per Pro Football Focus, 15 of the 21 pressures were credited to blockers. 6 of them and 4 of the 6 sacks were credited to Wentz, which means that Wentz did not do a good enough job in the pocket trying to make things happen. You have to help your team. And this is what I mean. Execution is important. Now, they were fully capable of executing every single one of these plays, but they didn't. And you can blame the coaching on some of that. Sure, I think that's fair. But they weren't doing a lot of exotic stuff. It was basic elements of Kevin O'Connell's offense with the normal window dressing because of the illusion of complexity. The interception to TJ Watt was a play that we've seen a couple times from O'Connell, which is essentially a running back on a drag route with blockers set up. They did it against the Chicago Bears last year. They also ran it again against the Chicago Bears in a different format in 2024 as well. But you basically they use Xavier Scott, and he's running about a 5-yard drag. So he's 5 yards ahead of the line of scrimmage. And Wentz just threw it, gets batted, TJ Watt picks it. But you had Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson running routes set up specifically to block and allow Xavier Scott to get the edge and get a first down. Those easy buttons matter. And that's why we have to look at the all-22 before we go to too much of a judgment. The Vikings called a really good offensive game. Now, it didn't result in a win, but Carson Wentz needed to play better. And we talked about that earlier last week, so we won't get into too much detail. Kevin O'Connell still has the goods. He's making more adjustments, I feel, than he's made in previous quarterbacks. Those are good things. Now, they have to figure out how to execute, and this may be a rough one with the offensive line being brutalized against a great Browns defense, but they'll get it. I'm Tyler Forness with ATOZ Sports. Skol Vikings.